Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Produce Buzzers podcast. We are so happy you have joined us today, and I think you will be too after the show is over, because you will learn a lot about fresh fruits and vegetables, how to select and store them, how to prepare and cook them, and surprising facts about their history and origin. We hope it inspires you to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, not only for your health, but also for your delight and pleasure as you explore their amazing world of taste and delicious flavors. Eating more of them will transform your life in so many positive ways. So settle back, relax, and get ready for another delicious adventure with the Produce Buzzers. Greetings, fruit and veggie fans around the world. Thanks for joining us once again on the Produce Buzzers podcast. I'm Edwin Stepp, your host and executive editor of producebuzz.com. I'm joined once again by Teresa Nolan, the president and founder of Produce Buzz, along with Rick Stepp and Cynthia Benedetto, both contributing editors of Produce Buzz. Well, this week, listeners, is a very special and fun week. Cinco de Mayo is coming up this week. Are you preparing your celebrations? 100 million Americans celebrate Cinco de Mayo every year, they say. It's quite a bit. And so today we are going to talk about this holiday, why it is a holiday. Most people don't know the reason Cinco de Mayo is celebrated. And we're going to tell you a little bit about that history. And then we're going to talk about those fruits and veggies that star on Cinco de Mayo and give you a little information about them and a few recipes maybe to help make your Cinco de Mayo even more delicious. Well, every year, Americans all across the country put on their sombreros and their serapes and flood the thousands of Mexican restaurants that line the streets of every city and town, from the redwood forests to the Gulf Stream waters. Yes, Mexican cuisine is wildly popular in the United States now, not just in the traditional cities and regions where Mexican immigrants are prominent, but even in the most bland palate Caucasian sectors of the Midwest and the Deep South. This is a trend that has occurred only in the past few decades as Mexican immigrants have spread across the nation. According to a recent survey, Mexican food is the second most popular ethnic cuisine in the United States, just barely behind Chinese food. So no wonder that gringos are ready to go all out, swallowing up 81 million pounds of avocados and downing huge goblets of lime juice tequila, 23 million cases, to honor the colorful culture of our southern neighbors on Cinco de Mayo. 81 million pounds of avocados are consumed on Cinco de Mayo, one day. Unbelievable. But Cinco de Mayo is more than just an excuse to drink margaritas and eat guacamole. Who needs an excuse to do that anyway? The event that began this tribute to the Mexican culture in the long run had more significance to the United States than to Mexico. The U.S. was not involved in the event in any way, but many historians believe if it had not happened, there might not be a United States as we know it today. If you're scratching your head in ignorance, don't feel intellectually inferior. Most Americans do not know the original reason for the celebration of May 5th. A survey conducted in 2016 revealed that only 22% of Americans knew what happened in Mexican history on that mid-spring day to warrant a celebration. Some of you are saying, well, that's easy. It's Mexico's Day of Independence. I've always known that. If so, you are not alone, as that is precisely what most Americans believe. But also, if you believe that, you are completely wrong. Mexico's Day of Independence is celebrated on September 16th and commemorates the day Mexico declared independence from Spain in 1810, over a half a century before the event that inspired Cinco de Mayo. Our May 5th in question was in the year 1862. French forces had invaded Mexico at Veracruz near the end of 1861 and were marching toward Mexico City under the premise of reclaiming Mexican debt that the country had recently ceased paying. But the French had greater motivations than to just get a few francs back in their treasury. Napoleon III ruled France, and he had dreams of expanding the French Empire into Latin America by quickly running over Mexico, which had been greatly weakened by the Mexican-American War and the civil wars which followed it. But Napoleon's forces were too confident, and they met a much smaller but much more determined Mexican army at the small town of Puebla. The date, May 5th. The result, a resounding defeat of the French forces, considered at the time to be the best and strongest fighting force in the world. The victory for Mexico was very sweet, but short-lived. About a year later, the French would return to capture Puebla and march to Mexico City, taking over the country. So why is this event important for the United States? Notice the date, not the May 5th part, but the year, 1862. What was happening on American soil during that year? The Civil War was raging, and the Confederates were winning most of the battles as they moved northward towards Washington, D.C. to encircle it. The Union looked doomed in 1862, and all resources were being consumed to stop the rebels advancing. And while France was officially neutral, they had a great need for the South's cotton, and that neutrality was sometimes tested. And there is no doubt that they saw the advantage for them in a divided American nation, which would assist their plans to be the dominant empire in the Americas. But what a difference a year makes. The Mexican victory delayed the French plans long enough for the war between the states to shift. The Northern forces defeated Robert E. Lee at Gettysburg in the summer of 1863. By all historical counts, one of the major turning points in the war, if not the major turning point. The French took Mexico City just a month earlier than that famous battle, but already the tide had turned enough for the United States to allow it to influence events down south. The French Latin Empire would only last a few short years, and with greater threats arising on the European continent, they realized they could not support the American goals. They began to withdraw by 1866, and the Mexicans retook their capital in 1867. The French support of the Confederacy had been thwarted, and the French Empire never again threatened the United States. So did the Mexican army help save the Union? That is a question which is difficult to answer with a resounding yes, but there's no question that its victory on May 5th, 1862 came at a good time for President Lincoln and those who wanted to preserve the Union. It is ironic that Americans have come to love this holiday, but yet most don't know its true origin and significance for the nation. While the holiday has been celebrated every year somewhere in the US since the Mexican victory at Puebla, the day did not become a hugely popular event until after 1980. It rose to popularity really due to marketers of beer, liquor, and the restaurant industry. It was crafted as a day to celebrate Mexican culture, but the importance for Americans was lost in the fun and the parties. And Cinco de Mayo is not a big holiday in Mexico at all. They do celebrate it, but it's very understated compared to ours. But we are glad it has survived and thrived, and hopefully more Americans will come to realize the greater significance of the day. So get your avocados ready and raise your glasses of Mexican beer and tequila to the Mexican army that stood its ground in Puebla on Cinco de Mayo.
Hey, Edwin, great history lesson. Loved it. But when you say the word C-I-N-C-O, cinco, not Cinco.
Oh,
Cinq is the French pronunciation for the number 5.
Oh, how embarrassing.
But
no,
so
that's because Edwin was on the side of the French.
Well, it is because I think it is because I studied French and not Spanish.
Yes.
And I know
Yes.
la cinq,
Yes.
not la cinq,
Yes.
la cinq, and that's where it comes from. But I stand
Or you
corrected.
could say go, which is Japanese.
Or you could just remember, most Americans think of it as Drinko.
Drinko.
De Mayo. So,
very good.
You
Thank
go.
you for that correction. And I apologize to all my Spanish speaking friends out there for destroying the language. And what is what would be the French translation. Cinco, does it, what's the French for May? I've forgotten. Mai,
Wait a
isn't it?
minute.
M-A-I?
Uh-huh.
So it'd be, but they don't say Cinco, they say cinq. It's not Cinco in French, right? It's Cinq de Mayo.
No, sink.
Cinq de
Cinq.
Mayo.
So it doesn't roll off your tongue like Cinco de Mayo.
How would you say,
Not quite.
how would you say 5th of May in French?
Cinq de Mayo, right? Did I get that
Mhm.
right, Teresa? Yeah. So
Right.
I should let our listeners know that Teresa has degrees both in French and Spanish. So she is the expert here on both of those. But I'm glad you corrected me so we could apologize to our Spanish speaking friends. Okay,
Won't the
so
French be offended?
probably they're always offended. No matter what.
Actually, for,
Is that
for,
kind of
for May 5th, you'd say Cinq Mai.
Oh,
You
Cinq de
wouldn't
Mayo.
say,
There's no
you don't
duh.
need duh in there
Okay.
either. So.
All right. Okay. Thanks for the language lesson. I'll get it right next time. Now, the star of Cinco de Mayo, at least in the fruit and veggie kingdom, has to be undisputedly the avocado. And we have a verified avocado expert on the Produce Buzzers podcast. Cynthia Benedetto is our expert on avocados, and she's going to tell us today about avocados and how they became so popular. Cynthia, tell us about avocados.
when Teresa hired me, I had left Dole Fresh Fruit. I was in the tech service department ripening bananas, showing clients how to ripen them properly. I started working for Teresa in the tech service department of the Nolan Network, with the California Avocado Commission being our first client.
So what do you mean by tech service when it comes to avocados for the California Avocado Commission? What does that imply?
I taught retailers and wholesalers the proper way to handle Hass avocado. Back in the day when we were doing preconditioning, if the stem,
What is preconditioning?
that's when they are ripened, much like bananas, in the proper temperature with the right humidity and the introduction of ethylene gas, which is a natural plant hormone.
Stuff that comes off apples, if you
Yes.
and other fruits, they give it off.
But back in the day when we started the Nolan Network, very few avocados were preconditioned. That was the problem, that too many of the fruits were ripening unevenly. And that was the aggravation of the wholesalers and the retailers.
Right. And then once they convinced these wholesalers, retailers, shippers to start putting them in these rooms ahead of time, to keep them at the right temperature, to introduce just the right amount of ethylene gas. It's preconditioned because they don't bring them to full ripeness in those rooms. Am I correct?
That is correct.
They get them started. And then once they come out and hit up the grocery store shelf, they're more likely to survive the different temperatures and everything else and come along in a more even way.
Yes, it
So
was about the even
Right.
ripening.
So it's a precondition to better ripening. Cynthia's work in that preconditioning and that tech service, providing to make sure the avocados got across the country in a better state, was actually very pivotal in the rise of consumption of avocados in this country. And Teresa, she was doing the merchandising and marketing for the California Avocado Commission, which was way ahead of beginning to promote avocados beginning in the 1990s. Before the 1990s, avocados were not that popular across the country like they are today.
And so hand in hand, tech service and merchandising, putting it with tomatoes and garlic, would increase sales.
Right.
And the Avocado Commission, they put a lot of money into those programs and have really increased the sales over the years. They've
Yeah.
had a great leader there who has done a marvelous job promoting the benefits of avocados and working with retailers too.
Right. Now, Cynthia, you said that with this preconditioning, you worked specifically with Hass avocados, you said, and that's a specific variety, correct?
Yes, it's the variety that is most popular.
Yeah, I mean, you hardly see any other varieties now in the grocery store, anywhere in the country. It's that the ones you see in the store, they start out green with a very pebbly skin, but when they ripen, they turn black. So that's the Hass avocado. And why? Again, explain. I kind of interrupted you. So why is the Hass avocado more delicious?
Because it has more fat, but it's a good
Yes.
fat.
Right. It's the good fat.
And I was in Whole Foods yesterday choosing some avocados, and I see some woman come up and she's sifting through it. I start helping her because, of course, I can't help myself when I see somebody fumbling around. And so
you're one of
I
those
had
nosy.
Yes, I am. Like, yeah, I
shoppers.
can't mind my business. The fact that I bother people in the produce department, and I said, no, that one's on its way out, and that one's not sweet.
Yeah, that's good. You're doing a service to the people in the supermarket. I would be too, I think, too shy to say, "Oh, miss, don't take that avocado. It's going to be terrible." Especially if she was pretty, she'd probably think I was hitting on her, in the grocery store.
So I had the 2 avocados I wanted, and I gave her one that I found. Then I explained to her how this is a much better avocado. It should yield to gentle pressure. And then I also explained to her what was dehydrated, if it was overripe and it was coming, if you depress on the skin and you can tell that it's coming away from the flesh. I'm like, no, you don't want that.
Could you test for ripeness right at the stem area to keep people from smashing it all over? Because it makes you so angry when you get home with an avocado that somebody has bruised all over.
The thing is, here's the thing, if I pick up an avocado and it yields to that gentle pressure, if it yields, take that avocado. Don't put it back in. It's going to be a good one as long as the rest of it looks good.
I'd like to add, when you're selecting avocados, if you have a reputable store that you shop at, you can almost be guaranteed that those avocados are preconditioned. And this thing of pressing anywhere on the avocado to see if it yields to pressure, I found that I can just pick those avocados up in my hands and just hold them and tell, just by the weight, if they're mature enough. And I know they will ripen. So I would suggest, rather than mashing on every avocado in the produce department, you just inspect them, evaluate them, take them home. Then if you want to start mashing on the ends after you own them,
Yeah, that's
fine.
So you're the person giving me the stink eye that I'm going through all of them. And I don't use my fingers to depress them. I'll use I won't use my fingertips to depress the avocado. I'll use my whole hand and just a little squeeze like you would, I don't know, a marshmallow or something. Just a little.
Mm-hmm. Like it's like squeezing the Charmin.
Exactly.
Please don't.
You may find it to believe, but I'm like the avocado whisperer. I can hold them in my hands and telepathically, that avocado will tell me it's going to be good.
And
No,
I think to your point, I think they're all preconditioned now. And if they weren't,
the biggest problem with the avocados now is not that you're going to get one that won't ripen, ripen properly once you get it home. It's usually they're already on the shelf past a good state. And you can tell that by looking at them, maybe picking them up and holding them. If they're starting to shrivel, as Cynthia said earlier, you can tell if the skin is coming away from the flesh. You want to stay away from those, and make sure that it's pretty solid all the way around. But again,
and with the Hass avocado, the skin gets darker as it ripens.
Very good point. Yeah.
So you can look at it, like if it's kind of a lighter green, it's probably not going to be ready to eat that day as it darkens, but it can get too dark, and then you'll start to see the dimpling, where it's separating. So you don't want those. But yeah, Rick is right. Try not to smash them, because when I get that one home that you smashed, I'm going to be looking for you to tell you off.
Yeah.
I like to buy avocados when they're on sale, and I've done this for several years now. I go to a discount retailer and they have them. Sometimes they'll have them for 49 cents, 69 cents for large size avocados. And they have so much volume that you can see they're fresh, they're solid, but you can also just tell that they've been preconditioned properly. So I've bought as many as 12 at a time, taking them home, put them in a bowl and just let them ripen at room temperature. And then as soon as they get to the consistency that I like, I put them in the refrigerator, and I've held them for as long as a month in the refrigerator, ripe, and they eat well, as much as a month later.
Could I see some documentation, maybe some video or some picture with a timestamp, a month?
Yeah,
I've got some right now that are that old in the refrigerator, and they will hold beautifully once they're ripened. You don't want to put them in before they're ripe, because it will get what we've talked about before, chill damage. It'll get black inside or dark gray inside. But there are a lot of tropical fruits that once it's ripe, you can put it in the refrigerator, including kiwi fruit and bananas. And with bananas, the skin may turn black while it's in the refrigerator, but the inside of the banana will stay good.
I ate one of those this morning. I pulled a black banana out of my refrigerator. It had been in there. I don't know how long it had been in there. Probably 2 weeks.
However,
and inside it was perfect. And I don't like them ripe.
If you get the bananas that have that gray cast, that means they got too cold before they were ripened.
Yeah. Right.
I like my bananas.
I'm gonna try to remember that. I'll go to this store next time they're on special. I'll buy like 10, and I'll bring them home and I'll document it.
Thank you.
And try to show I'll try to keep them for a month and see what happens.
And then you'll cut them open. You could actually take a Sharpie, maybe a silver Sharpie that would show up on the black skin, number them.
You're going to have to believe him at some point, Cynthia. I don't think there's any way he can fake this.
I've had some shrinkage doing that, but overall I've been very fortunate to be able to keep them that long.
I've had the same success. I could never kept them a month because I can't keep them that long. I have to eat them. But I guess if I bought a dozen of them or a case of them, maybe they'd get past a month.
And don't put them in the microwave.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, Rick, we found something Rick doesn't microwave. Oh my, this is astounding. Breaking news on the Produce Buzzers podcast. Rick has a fruit or veggie he will not microwave.
Unless they're totally immature avocados. And, sometimes they just stay green, which is very seldom. You could cut those up and cook them in the microwave.
Oh, that's got to be awful.
Oh, I call bullshit on that. No.
But you got to put some onions with them when you do that.
You have to what?
Put onions with them.
Why don't you put them in a paper bag and put an apple, a piece of citrus, something that gives off ethylene?
Yeah, I haven't had, in recent history, I haven't had avocado that wouldn't ripen up. But, back in the old days, like we were talking about, they never got soft and they never ripened.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Cynthia though did give a good tip that we should give our listeners. If you want to speed up that ripening process, if you get one home, it's still pretty green on the outside, it's pretty hard. Put it in a paper bag with a banana and or an apple, and those two fruits give off a lot of ethylene gas, and it's like her preconditioning. It will start the process, and then once they get to that soft stage, put them in the fridge. They'll keep for quite a bit longer. The jury's still out on a month. Rick's going to prove it to us. I believe him.
Mm-hmm.
So, Cynthia, you were very instrumental in building the popularity of avocados in the past few decades. Thank you for that. And now we see it everywhere in all types of cuisine.
It's not just a guacamole Mexican food item. Added it in on the top of salads. It just was an easy piece of fruit that was so healthy, and I didn't even realize at that point it was so healthy, but it just added so much flavor.
Yeah, the avocado is very versatile. We do tend to think of it as a Mexican cuisine, and it is quite prevalent, but it has expanded. It's and you can find it in almost any cuisine now. I mean, I love sushi, and I can't imagine eating a sushi meal without avocado on a roll or in a roll, a sushi roll. It's really delicious. So the Japanese have expanded it quite prevalently in their cuisine. And all types of European and Western cuisine as well. The avocado toast has to be one of the most popular uses now. Everybody, it seems, has avocado toast on their menu. So that's good.
But it just goes whether you want to put it in a smoothie.
That's right.
My girlfriend.
That's a waste, in my opinion, blending up an avocado in a smoothie.
Well, not if it's about to die.
Well, that's
and and you could always then freeze it.
Oh, really?
And then throw it in your smoothie.
Yeah.
Therefore, you don't lose it.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
And my girlfriend, who is not well, that is a perfect item to feed her that is bland enough with her going through chemo and everything tastes odd. It's more the consistency, and I'm getting a lot of vitamins and nutrients into her.
Yeah, that's good. Very good.
Can I tell you about some of the nutritional value of avocados?
Please.
Yes, please do.
So here's where the avocado really shines. 1/2 of a Hass avocado contains about 10.5 grams of fat, which is about 80% of its total calories. The composition of fatty acids is what makes many consider the avocado the epitome of healthy fat. It contains 71% monounsaturated fatty acids, 13% polyunsaturated fatty acids, 16% saturated fatty acids, The large proportion of monounsaturated fats is why many recommend the consumption of avocados as part of a healthy diet. Moreover, the presence of dietary fat enhances the absorption and utilization of many of the micronutrients present in avocados.
Wow. Okay. Avocados truly a super food. Thanks for all that. Now, Cynthia has a lot of great recipes with avocados. She's gonna share one today. We only have time for one. Cynthia, what recipe have you got for us today?
How about my roasted pepper guacamole that is
wow.
going to be for Cinco de Mayo?
That sounds fantastic. Please give us Cynthia Benedetto's roasted pepper guacamole. I'm not saying guacamole right either, apparently. You say guacamole.
Isn't it
guacamole? I don't know. We've
I don't know,
already
Teresa,
established the fact that
is
I
it
don't pronounce Spanish
guacamole?
words.
Guacamole. No, that's close enough. That's what we say here in this country, so let's go for it.
Yeah. Holy guacamole. Wasn't that what Robin used to say on Batman? Did he used to say holy guacamole? Does that come from somewhere else? He would always
It's actually a brand, Holy Guacamole.
Yep. But it's spelled WHOLLY.
Oh, okay.
Meaning that it's
Didn't
pure.
he used to say holy moly?
He used to say all kinds of holy things like holy whatever Batman. And it was different all the time. But I don't know if he came up with holy guacamole, but
I'm going to say no.
All right.
Anyway, moving right along.
Yes, sorry. We got distracted from your delicious recipe. So let's get back to it. Why don't you start off by telling us what's in it? What goes in this?
So I like to use 2 peppers of each color. The red, yellow, and green.
Those are bell peppers.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I use 1 sweet onion. And then I like to do a combination of what you would probably say jalapeno, but jalapeno.
I'm not quite that bad. But
jalapeno, serrano, and poblano peppers.
okay.
And I do 1 each, and I de-seed them and devein them with gloves so that then I don't scratch my eyes.
Now that's a good idea. Now I would leave the seeds in because I like it spicy, but I suppose if people are sensitive to spice or you're serving to someone else, your guests are sensitive to spice, you do want to get those seeds out.
Cooking for somebody other than yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, that's true. I might reserve them on the side, toss them in later. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, here's some little jalapeno peppers. If you want to just like the seeds, I left them over.
Okay, so 1 jalapeno, 1 serrano, 1 poblano, de-seeded and deveined. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Bulb of garlic, and I chop that.
Chop, not mince.
Correct. Because it's going to be roasting for 2 hours, and I think to mince, I'm nervous if the
that would burn
if
up.
the garlic
probably.
would burn. Yes.
1 whole bulb, not just a clove, but a whole bulb.
No,
section.
I don't want just one section.
Okay.
Correct.
1 clove.
No, she wants a bulb, not a clove.
Yeah.
Right. That's what you meant. Okay.
The section is called, most people call it a clove.
Yeah, that's what it is. Right. Man, we are produce experts, aren't we?
Oh my gosh. And then I use an oil that has a high smoke point. So I use like a safflower or a sunflower oil. 2 Roma tomatoes, fresh cilantro. I mince that because a little bit of cilantro goes a long way for me. So again, like I might have that on the side.
I think that's pronounced cilantro, not cilantro.
Teresa, can we have I'm calling my lifeline here.
You say cilantro, I say cilantro. Who cares? Let's call the whole thing off.
and
Yeah.
ripe.
And you say
halves.
guacamole, I say guacamole.
Ole.
The juice of 1 lime, kosher salt, and that's going to be, Teresa, of course, would have no salt in there, but you got to have a little bit of salt. Then I use 4 ripe Hass avocado.
Right.
Put all the ingredients, the peppers, onion, and garlic in a bowl, and then that's when I add the oil, because when I toss it, it coats evenly, and I find that I use less oil than if I had it in a roasting pan and added it and then tried to coat
Right. That's a
coat all the.
good suggestion.
And I find that I use probably half the oil.
Yeah.
Then I roast this mixture at 375 to 400 for 2 hours, and every 30 minutes I stir it thoroughly just to
so it cooks more evenly, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And then just also like about after the 1 hour mark, it will start to, along the edges, some of the peppers will start to get black and like burn. So that's another reason why I toss it, just to kind of minimize the burn factor. The last 30 minutes, add the chopped tomatoes, toss it up, let it continue cooking. When it comes out of the oven, I like to transfer it to a bowl pretty quickly, and then add the cilantro, the lime juice, and the salt.
Right. Do you want to do you want to cool that a little bit before adding the cilantro, lime, and salt, or is it okay to just pop it in as soon as it comes out of the oven?
You probably should let it wait, because you have to taste it.
Okay.
And so,
yes, you don't want to burn your mouth.
So let it. Even if you let it like cool for about 10 minutes, it would
it's fine.
Make a difference. Yes. I'm not the person who's going to eat raw bell peppers, but with this recipe, the caramelization of those sugars, it is such a sweet, a nice flavor.
Yeah, it sounds delicious. You get it. The caramelization really must add a lot. So then you've got this mixture. It's everything except, sounds like everything except the avocados so far.
Yes, I don't add the avocados. It depends on if I'm going to serve it right now. Okay, I'll add the avocados. But if I'm not going to serve it till, this evening, then I will wait to add the avocados, just because when all this stuff caramelizes, it's not it's a lot of those dark colors that have been caramelized. So then you add the avocado, and if they get oxidized, it just is kind of like kind of a weird color palette.
But either way, you need to let this mixture cool down quite a bit before you add those avocados.
Yes, I don't want hot avocado. You have to let it cool completely.
So anyway, so it does require some planning and preparation before you serve it, if you're going to have it right at the right time.
And if I'm really on my game, I will make it the day before.
Oh,
and then you're golden.
Yep. But still waiting to add that avocado to right before you serve it. A couple hours before. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because of the oxidation.
That does sound delicious. I've got to try it. I'm a pretty purist when it comes to my guacamole. It's just avocados, lime, salt, cilantro, tomatoes. A lot of people like to add garlic and onion. I don't like garlic and onion in my guacamole. But this sounds really interesting. The caramelized peppers, it's a different dish, but it does sound great. I'm going to try it.
It's a good. Then you'll have to let me know.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Cynthia. Avocados, our avocado expert, has taught us a lot about avocados today. And if you're going to the grocery store and you need help in selecting an avocado, I'll give you Cynthia's mobile phone number. It is
555
You can FaceTime her and show her the avocados, and she's ready to help.
Put
you
that
cook them
thing
out.
down. That is awful. What store are you in? Good Lord, leave right now.
Okay, so now since Cynthia taught us correctly how to pronounce cilantro, that is, in my opinion, cilantro is the supporting actor to guacamole. Avocado,
Yes.
of course, is the star, but the flavor of that cilantro is the supporting actor, best supporting actor. And Teresa really understands a lot about cilantro and puts it in everything, even on her ice cream, I think. But,
well, I kind of hold back on the ice cream a little bit, but I love it in a lot of foods, I'll tell you. It's an herb from the fresh leaves of the coriander plant. So it's which is actually a member of the parsley family. And it's also known as Chinese parsley and Mexican parsley. And I've heard that in the UK, they see cilantro, they call cilantro fresh coriander leaves. So
yeah, that is
that
true.
kind of tells you where that connection comes from. And
Where
there
is that
is
from? Who calls it that?
the British, the UK.
Also
They
in
call it-
India, they call it coriander.
Yeah. It has a fresh kind of citrusy flavor, but some people say it tastes like soap. And that's a genetic thing. There's actually a genetic variation that's responsible for the way that different people perceive the taste of cilantro.
Well,
So you'll have some people that won't eat it because they think it tastes horrible. And then there's Edwin and me who eat it.
I have put it
on our ice cream.
I have put it on ice cream before. I won't do it again, but I did try it.
For me, cilantro doesn't taste like soap, but a little bit of cilantro goes a long way.
Well, to each her own. There we go. Now, once cilantro flowers, it produces seeds, and the flavor of the leaves actually intensify. The cilantro refers to the stalks and leaves, while the coriander refers to dried cilantro seeds.
So when we buy ground,
seeds,
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
When we buy ground coriander in a spice rack somewhere, that's from the seeds, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And coriander seeds have their own health benefits. Cilantro has incredible health benefits, but coriander also has its own health benefits. It's very low in calories, but high in antioxidants, along with vitamin K and vitamin A. And that helps protect the body from damage caused by free radicals. Oxidative stress is linked to a wide array of degenerative diseases, including cancer, heart disease, arthritis, Alzheimer's, macular degeneration. And so, if you're taking care of someone with any of those things, this might be something good to add to their diet. If you're eating foods that might cause intestinal distress, it can actually help your stomach. It's a good thing to take for your stomach. So if you're getting a spicy food, throwing the cilantro in may actually help counteract that, the way your stomach would react to it.
That's interesting. That's probably one reason why, like Mexican cuisine and others, Indian cuisine, they use a lot of the cilantro, and they tend to be very spicy. So maybe that's why they went together well. The taste,
and maybe they just
primary.
like it.
Yeah, the taste is the primary reason.
It can actually calm your nerves and improve sleep quality because it has a natural sedative property. Cilantro extract produced the same anti-anxiety effects as Valium without the dangerous side effects. So, I've never noticed that I feel very zen after I eat it, but maybe, maybe I do. And maybe that's why I like it. Ooh, get my fix.
You're
I've got a
addicted.
question. Can you dry it and smoke it?
Oh, no.
Yes,
Well,
you can. There's no question you can do that. Whether it would be a pleasurable experience.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you could dry it in the microwave. I don't
Exactly.
Well, they do
I-
sell it dried, in the spice racks. You see dried cilantro. It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
It is not the same thing. It is, in my opinion.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they have dried cilantro leaves as well as the coriander.
Yeah, that's what I was referring
Yes.
to. Dried
Yeah.
cilantro leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, the dried cilantro does not have the same. It's it's a completely different spice, in my opinion.
Right.
Just don't get that flavor.
Yeah. The leaves and stems of cilantro have actually been shown to help lower blood sugar. It also can help lower cholesterol and triglycerides. Some studies with rats showed that the cilantro improved the memories of rats. So, hey.
Yeah, we had something else in a previous episode about something improving the memories of rats, and I just wanted to know how they actually measure that. Do they,
Yeah, well,
you-
maybe
I'll
it
just-
has to.
I think I'll
they
just
asked the
do a
rats
puzzle.
hey rat, where were you yesterday? What did you do yesterday?
Right. What was your phone number when you were a kid?
That I can remember. Don't ask me to tell you what my husband's phone number is now.
Right. So you want to make when you buy it that you look closely at it to distinguish it from flat leaf parsley,
I've
because
done
it
that
is.
before.
Yeah, I
All
always
you have
smell
to
of
do
it.
is- exactly. I was just gonna say, smell it.
Right.
Right. The cilantro leaves are more rounded with jagged edges, and parsley leaves are pointed. So you want to make sure it's not wilted. When you get it home, rinse it really well, and then treat it like it's a flower. Put it in a container of water and put it in the refrigerator. And it will last longer that way.
Yep,
You can add it.
I do that often, and it really extends the life of it. And I change that water every now and then. If you're not using it all up at once, I drain it and put it in fresh water.
Yep. You can add it to soups. I put it in my beans when I make do the pressure cooker and cook black beans. I throw in onion and cilantro, and it really gives it a nice flavor. Put it in salsa, of course. Blend it with lime and use it to flavor fish. I came up with a avocado honey cilantro dressing that is just an avocado, about 1/4 a cup of cilantro, the juice of a half a lime, a cup of garlic, which I chopped very finely, minced it really, and then 2 tablespoons of honey, and just mix them all together. Mash your avocado so it's sort of smooth. Add the others in, and
Well, I'm looking forward to Cinco de Mayo because I'm going to be healed of a lot of ailments
yeah.
with all these great foods.
But you'll be waiting a
know
long
it.
time for Cinco
Now,
de Mayo.
yeah. Did you hear the way he pronounced it, Teresa? You didn't go after him. Cinco
Mayo.
de Mayo. What is that? What is Cinco de Mayo, Rick?
Well, it has
It's
something
the
to do with
5th of mayonnaise.
during that war with the French. They sunk a ship called the Mayo, so that's where they get the term.
Or it was loaded with mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
May I please have? I need a bibliography on that, please.
It was a tanker ship loaded with mayo.
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo. Okay, enough of this silliness. We're getting too silly again. But thank you, Teresa, for all that info on cilantro. So delicious and so healthy. Okay, the other undisputed supporting actor, maybe even the star, it can almost be the star as well, co-star along with avocados, is limes, because limes seem to go into everything in the Mexican cuisine, especially margaritas. But it's also very important in the guacamole, and lots of other Mexican dishes. Rick is going to tell us about limes today. Rick, what have you got to tell us?
Yes, in fact, on Cinco de Mayo, nothing is more
Thank you very much.
fresh limes, as Edwin mentioned. It's a key ingredient in margaritas, guacamole, salsa, and of course, with your Mexican beer, you have to have it as a garnish.
Oh, that's right.
Squeeze that juice into the beer, and nobody is going to celebrate Cinco de Mayo without a drink. So therefore, it's actually the most important part of the celebration, because you could just not eat anything on that day and consume your favorite beverage. If you
That's true. There are probably a lot of people who do that.
You can find various recipes online to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, but don't forget to include the fresh limes in your grocery shopping, because you could use them virtually on everything when it comes to Mexican food. You can find limes in your stores year-round, 365 days a year. Varieties of limes include Persian limes, key limes, Australian desert limes, Australian finger limes, blood limes, and Philippine limes. Overwhelmingly in the United States, Persian limes are the most popular. Persian limes are a hybrid cross of key limes and lemons, something I never realized before.
I didn't know that.
Your typical lime that you buy in a grocery store in the United States is a Persian lime. Of course, people are familiar with the key limes. They're usually much smaller, and it's more of a specialty item. You can't always find the key limes in the store. Most species and hybrids of citrus plants called limes have varying origins within tropical Southeast Asia and South Asia. They were spread throughout the world via migration and trade from approximately 3000 to 1500 BC. They were later spread into the Middle East and the Mediterranean region via the spice trade from as early as 1200 BC. To prevent scurvy during the 19th century, British sailors were issued a daily allowance of citrus, such as lemon, and later switched to limes. The use of citrus was initially a closely guarded military secret, as scurvy was a common scourge of various national navies, and the ability to remain at sea for lengthy periods without contracting the disorder was a huge benefit for the military. British sailors thus acquired the nickname limey because of their use of limes. Key lime gives the character flavoring to the American dessert known to Cynthia as key lime pie. In Australia, desert lime is used for making marmalade. Not dessert lime, but desert lime. Lime is an ingredient in several highball cocktails, often based on gin, such as gin and tonic, Gimlet, and the Ricky.
Oh, the Ricky. You invented that, didn't you?
Well, I thought I did. There actually is a brandy Ricky, which is lime juice and brandy, basically. Right. And I never knew that there was actually a drink called a Ricky.
We used to call when we were little, we used to call Rick Ricky.
Yeah.
But you're not a Ricky anymore for some reason. I don't know.
Especially because he drinks bourbon instead of
Yeah, lime juice will go with virtually any alcohol. You can
maybe not wine.
Yeah, maybe
or a dirty martini. It's not happening.
Not a good red wine anyway. Maybe wine spritzer made with white wine. Anyway,
maybe if the wine was too sweet, it might be okay to add some.
No, I don't think so. Good try.
Yeah, but I don't drink wine that often. I like brandy or bourbon, and my drink of choice when I go out is I'll have a brandy straight up with fresh lime. And in Minnesota, I have to make sure that I tell them fresh lime, because that can mean to a lot of bartenders lime juice.
Right.
Canned lime juice. And it's not the same as squeezing a fresh lime into your glass. But of course, as everyone knows, freshly squeezed lime juice is also considered a key ingredient in margaritas, although sometimes lemon juice is substituted. It is also found in many rum cocktails, such as the daiquiri and other tropical drinks. I mean, you mentioned that lime wouldn't be good in wine, but I haven't tried it before, but who would have ever thought that it would be good in beer?
Yeah, that was a surprise to me too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's the only recent history that I ever heard of lime in a beer.
Right.
And that must come from Mexico. I would like to ask everyone here what their favorite use of lime is.
Well, it's definitely margarita for me.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Cynthia?
I guess a key lime pie.
Yeah, good answer.
Mhm.
That comes close second to me. Key lime pie is my favorite dessert.
If key lime pie were good for you, it would definitely be my highest use of lime.
Yeah.
I mean, I would eat it at every meal.
Me too.
And I do sometimes, like until it's gone.
Of course, the brandy's not really good for you either, but I do use lime with my brandy. How about you?
I use lime mostly in cooking. If I make something like fajitas, I put lime over the mixture of chicken and vegetables. That really gives it it's a great substitute for a salt.
Mm-hmm.
And if I make a coleslaw, I love to use lime and honey in my dressing for the coleslaw. So
yeah, I've had that before. And one other thing, cilantro is really good in a coleslaw. So lime and cilantro in coleslaw is good.
Yeah.
Come on, Cynthia. Don't be shaking your head and snarling in your face.
You ever tried to just add a little guacamole in the coleslaw as well as all those other things?
No,
I have not.
Might be pretty good.
Yeah,
it might be pretty good.
Dad would say it might be good. I wouldn't tell you until I tried it.
Right.
Now I got to try putting lime in my wine.
Oh, please don't do that.
Well, sangria has a lot of when they make sangria.
That's a good point. I've been corrected here. Typically, they don't use lime in sangria, but they do use orange a lot and lemon. But lime would be fine. So that's a good point, Teresa.
I've still got that sangria recipe that we got at the nursing home, Teresa. Do you remember
that? No. I didn't know they were serving sangria at
what nursing home?
I want to go to that.
I shouldn't call it a nursing home, but
just let my brother and sister know that when it's time for me to get confined to a nursing home, that's where I want to be. I don't care where it is. I don't care what the conditions are like.
The facility that our mother was in Massachusetts. It was actually assisted living, not a nursing home. I said nursing home to enhance
even
it.
Better.
Yeah.
I'll even remember enjoying the sangria.
Teresa might remember this. I thought you were with me. I know Lori was. We got on the elevator to go to the floor wherever our mother was, and there were two sides of the elevator. It's almost like an old joke. Well, the wrong side of the elevator opened, and we stepped out, and it was the side of the assisted living that was like a party house. They had an open bar going on with all the elderly people there drinking at the bar. And that day they were having sangria. They said, come on in, sample some of our sangria. And it was like the best I'd ever tasted. And I said, can I get that recipe? And they gave me the recipe.
Did they think you were a resident?
Probably. But that particular assisted living, it was like a country club on one side. Not the side that our mother was on, but one side.
It was a very good care center, though. Really.
Yeah, of course. We know.
They didn't even need medications. They just drank sangria.
Yeah.
Well, can I give my margarita recipe?
Oh, please.
You should never buy margarita mix in the grocery store. Just please, people, put that away. It is so terrible, that stuff, loaded with sugar too. Although my recipe is not going to be completely without sugar and sweetener. But of course you need tequila, And it's best if you get 100% agave tequila, not partial agave. And 100% look for it. You're going to pay a little extra for it, but there are some brands out there that have 100% agave that are good and not too pricey. And so you need 3 parts tequila to 1 part of triple sec, which is an orange flavored liqueur. And so 3 parts tequila, 1 part triple sec. And then you need 3 parts lime juice, fresh squeezed lime juice. Squeeze those limes yourself. Doesn't take too much effort to get that 3 parts, depending on how much you're drinking. But let's say it's 3 ounces of tequila. You want 3 ounces of lime, 1 ounce of triple sec. And then just a little bit of agave syrup to take away the too sourness of the lime. And you can just put that in as you see fit until it gets to the right sweetness for you. I don't like them too sweet. I've made them with very little agave syrup. And some of my friends, it was just too sour for them. So I had to up that up a bit. But I'm not going to give you a portion for the agave syrup. You need to just put that in, try to put it in a little time, get it to the right sweetness, and try not to overdo it. Shake that up in a good shaker, pour it over some ice. But before you pour it into the glass, you need to take the glass, take that what leftover fresh lime that you squeezed, rub it around the rim of that glass, and then turn it over into some Margarita salt. You know, Margarita salt is different usually than your table salt. It's usually coarser, and they sell it separately as Margarita salt, but you could probably just get a nice coarse salt and it would do the same thing. And you rub that rim. After you put the lime juice around the rim, the salt will stick to that rim. Fill that glass with ice and then pour that margarita over, and you've got a great, freshly made margarita that will blow your mind, and much better than that crazy, terrible margarita mix they sell.
Well, that's interesting. What exactly is triple sec?
It is an orange flavored liqueur.
Well, it has a lot of sugar in it. The triple
Well, you know, it's alcohol.
Hey, can you step off of sugar, please?
No, I'm just saying that's what gives it its sweetness.
Well, it does add sweetness. It is sweet. It's
And does it contain alcohol? Triple sec?
It's 24%. It's like a liqueur.
Oh.
You know, liqueurs are 24%.
Sure.
You know, things like gin, vodka are typically 40% alcohol. They can be higher than that.
Holy shnikey. So you got to add the triple sec plus the tequila.
Well, that triple sec gives it a nice balance. The orange flavor gives it a nice balance. Now, if you really, you know what they call a Cadillac margarita, that's when you put in a higher level orange flavored liqueur like Cointreau, or what's the other one? Grand Marnier, both orange flavored liqueurs, but a lot sweeter and, you know, more refined taste. And those, if you can afford it, I'd say go for the Grand Marnier and ditch the triple sec.
And what is agave syrup? Is that?
It's syrup made from the agave plant, which is what tequila comes from. Tequila is made from agave, but they take the plant and they boil it down and extract the sugars from it. It becomes a syrup. And that really balances that agave flavors in the tequila. You get the sweetness from that agave syrup. It's probably not any better for you than sugar, but the flavor of it is a little nicer and it's easier to dissolve in the drink as well because it's in syrup form and not crystal form. So
right. So they must add sugar to the agave syrup, obviously.
Yeah.
So when I'm having margaritas at El Condor in Silver Lake, if you had to guess, they have triple sec in it?
I don't know that restaurant, but if it's a high quality restaurant, they're making their own. Yeah, they're going to have triple sec, or they, you know, if you go to most Mexican restaurants now, if you go there, they'll have a whole menu of margaritas with different kinds of flavors. You know, they've got strawberry and peach and all that. I don't like this stuff, but they'll usually also have different levels, like the Cadillac margarita. And when they do that, the Cadillac margarita has a higher level orange flavored liqueur, like a Grand Marnier or Cointreau. But triple sec is the workhorse of most lower priced margaritas. And and oftentimes they don't use agave syrup. They use what's the other bar syrup? Bar syrup. It's basically just sugar water boiled into a syrup.
Simple sugar.
Yeah. But agave syrup, they don't add sugar, Rick. I don't think. They may. You may be right. I think it comes straight from the plant, and they just boil it down to the sugars are left.
At any rate, we can't get our 5 a day from a margarita, right?
Well, if
I
you
don't think
eat
so.
it with guacamole, there you go.
Yeah, that's true. But not in the margarita itself, unless you consider 5 servings of lime your 5 a day, which I don't think would count.
Well, we could do the margarita smoothie and take that margarita you just made and then add it in the blender with our 5 fruits and vegetables for the day, and then drink it as a smoothie.
Well, there you go. I guess if you want tequila in your smoothie, but oh, by the way,
where there's a will, he's going to
never-
find a way.
People out there, you can drink your drinks anyway, and hats off to you, but I never drink a blended margarita, the frozen ones. Those are terrible. Stay away from those.
And don't ever put them in the microwave.
Yeah, you get a headache if you eat those frozen ones.
Yeah, that's true. But something happens to the combination of flavors when you put that ice in and then blend it to the ice, becomes like a slushy, not a smoothie, but like a slushy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just changes. To me, it changes the flavors somehow.
Right.
Teresa had something to tell us, I think.
I was just going to say, when you're talking about the triple sec, the word sec in French means dry. And I just read that triple sec may have 3 different kinds of oranges in it.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So
hence triple.
there you go. Does it taste dry to you? Is it a dry taste when you drink it?
No, it's sweet. It's very sweet. It's like a very sweet liqueur. I've never drunk.
Yeah.
I was going to say, he can't discern it when he's sucking down those margaritas.
and to be honest, I don't think I've ever poured a little glass of triple sec and drank it. I've done that with Grand Marnier, which is very good just by itself. But there's another orange flavored liqueur that I like to substitute in occasionally too. It's called Curacao, and it's an orange flavored liqueur that comes from the island Curacao in the Dutch Antilles in the Caribbean. And they even have a blue Curacao, which is blue in color, tastes like orange but blue in color. But I don't like once you put that blue in there, to me it just doesn't look right drinking that blue drink. So even though the flavor of the blue Curacao is good, but
I know what we need to start another podcast called Produce Buzzed.
Do we have to drink to be the buzzed?
Well, there was a really popular one of the first really popular online web shows was a show called Drunk History. Did you ever see that?
No.
I met the woman who started that. She became hugely popular. In fact, she became so popular that they commissioned her to do a cable television show on it. But basically what she would do, she was a historian. She knew her history, but she'd start off talking about a historical event sober. And as she went through she would start drinking and she'd get funnier and funnier and sloppier and sloppier. And so I got to say it was pretty funny, but it was also, probably not the best thing to be promoting, getting drunk. So what do you think? Should we do that? Drunk produce, drunk fresh?
Produce buzzed, as Eric said.
Yeah, that's a good name. I like that.
Our theme song.
I wouldn't last very long.
Tequila makes her clothes come off.
What did you say? What's the theme
song? Could be that country song, Tequila Makes Her Clothes Come Off.
I don't know that song.
Exactly. I've never heard that song before.
Oh my goodness, that's one of the best.
The last thing I want to hear is somebody with a really thick tongue, and so, it Just tell me what you have to say sober. I just
I'm with you, Cynthia. There you go.
Okay, enough of this intoxicated gibberish. We've run way over time today, so we must conclude.
I do have a homegrown. if you
Oh,
like.
no, not a homegrown. Rick already gave us one of that Cinco.
what
de
does the
Mayo.
mayo
We're
say?
groaning enough.
He
Okay.
did, didn't he? That was a good one, too.
Okay, let's do the homegrown.
It's
All
no
right.
bottle
Okay.
of wine.
I'll introduce it.
Yeah.
So, Produce Buzzers podcast fans, it's time for your favorite segment on the Produce Buzzers podcast. I know you want to run away, but please don't. We have one especially for Cinco de Mayo. Teresa, what is our pun of the day?
What do you call a repetitive dream about Indian dishes that use a complex combination of spices and herbs, usually including ground turmeric, cumin, coriander, ginger, fresh or dried chilies?
A recurring dream. A recurring nightmare.
Nightmare.
Good.
Very good, Edwin. You did it.
I got my second one. That's the
Oh,
second
my
one I've
goodness.
gotten. I didn't give anybody else a chance to answer that. That was too good.
You know what?
It
You
came
could
right
have
to
given
me.
me like, yeah, I would not have gotten that.
Very good.
Well, I didn't see that coming, human.
Here we go again. Stop her. Somebody stop her. Pull the plug.
Hey, we
Ken.
have to give a shout out to Ron,
Oh, Ron.
our buddy Ron, who is, I think, our number one fan.
Absolutely.
We
Ron and
love
Atomi.
Ron. Yeah.
Thank you, Ron, for listening. And we really appreciate you following and liking stuff on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
So if anybody else wants a shout out, push
Yeah.
the thumbs up.
Yeah, like you, Cynthia.
Oh, I don't do Facebook. I do Insta.
Okay.
Ah.
But thanks to all you Produce Buzzers podcast fans out there for continuing to listen. Our audience is growing, but we would like it to grow even more. So please tell all your friends to tune in and listen. Check out our Facebook page. Check out our website. That's www.producebuzz.com. And we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, and even Pinterest. So check us out on those platforms as well. We are so grateful for all of you listening and continuing to listen, and hope you will spread the word. That's all the time we have today. Thank you again, and good night. Well, thank you, listeners, for tuning in to the Produce Buzzers podcast, brought to you by Produce Buzz, a gathering place for lovers of fresh fruits and veggies. We hope you were entertained a bit and educated a lot about fresh produce. Be sure to join us next time, and please tell your friends to do so as well. Like, share, and comment on our Produce Buzz Facebook page, and check out our website at www.producebuzz.com. There you will find articles about fresh fruits and veggies, how to select, store, and prepare them, as well as lots of interesting facts about all the wonderful bounty the earth provides for us. Until next time, be fruitful and don't forget to veg out.